Hello everyone, I thought I'd give you some inspiration today using the Inkables with a jelly plate and the gloss sprays from Dina Wakley and the Dilutions paints. So to start with, I've put my alternate circles 6x6 Inkable onto my jelly plate and I'm going to spritz it with some Dina Wakley gloss spray turquoise. Just give it a good shake because I haven't used this for a little while, so just need to activate it all. And just a few spritz through the circles. And then obviously wipe my nozzle clean, otherwise it gets all stuck up and you can't use it. And then I'm going to add some fuchsia. Not worrying too much if it goes over the side of my jelly plate, because I'm just going to mop that up with a piece of plain white paper, which I use for all my mopping up, and then it gets used in my backgrounds. And I'm just keeping the area as clean as I can so that I don't transfer anything onto other cards. So now I've used that, I'm going to not waste the ink and turn it over onto a piece of mixed media card and just pat it down. I'm not too worried that things are running, because obviously the gloss sprays are quite a runny media, so they have seeped a little underneath, but I'm not worried too much about that because it all adds to your background. Right, that's now transferred. I'm going to stick that into a bucket of warm soapy water so that the spray doesn't stick. I'm going to take a pull immediately because I want to, it will make just a nice background on its own. So just using a mixed media card, rubbing it onto the surface and then peeling off. Because the gloss sprays are quite sticky, it's a bit of an effort to pull. But you get an interesting background which you can add more to using more stamps, more Inkables, Dinkables. So this time I'm going to take the Distressed Diamond one, and yes, I do write on them all what they are, otherwise I forget the names. And this time I've got the Blackberry Gloss Media Spray, which I'm going to quickly spritz through a few areas. Add some of the cheddar. Oh, looks like my hole's slightly blocked up on this one, so I better give it a good clean. I'm only coming out in one direction. Clean this one off as well. When I'm doing a jelly plate session, I tend to pick a lot of colours that all go together, because obviously some of it stays on your jelly plate each session. And once you start getting mud off, obviously you can clean your jelly plate by just giving it a wipe with a bit of water. I'm going to add this on top of the other one as my clean up. I tend to stick to the colours that are all the same, because then you don't get the mud. Even if I'm changing media, I tend to stick to the same sort of colours. As you can see, that's gone a little bit muddy, but it's not too bad. Again, I've stuck my Dinkable straight into the water and take another piece of card. And hopefully we'll get a bit of a mixture of the two. Although I do find with the media sprays, most of it comes off. Yeah, the entire first one came off. So I'm just going to leave those to dry. There's still a bit of that one left, but this time I'm going to use my paints rather than my sprays, I think. So I'm going to use Full Metalwork Alpha. Obviously turn it upside down, because when you do the pull you get the reverse image, so you have to do it in reverse onto the jelly plate. So I've got my dilutions. I've got a mix of shimmers and non-shimmer. I think this one I'm going to do in the bubblegum pink shimmer spray, shimmer paint. Give it a bit of a shake. I put a little bit out on my mat. This one seems to dribble around the sides every time. And then I'm going to use a sponge to apply. And I'm just going to put some in 3 places. And I'm not worried too much about making a mess on my mat, because this glass mat wipes really clean really quickly. I'm then going to add some crushed grape. And I don't worry too much about mixing it on my sponges either. And just add it in. It doesn't have to be lots. I find with a jelly plate, the less media you use on it, the better. Now these paints don't come off the stencils quite so easily as the sprays, so I tend to spritz it first a little bit and then put it onto a piece of card and press down. I don't like wasting any or much of the paint that's on the stencil. And that's what's come off of this stencil this time. Again, stick it straight into the water so that it doesn't dry on too much. I'm not going to take a print straight away now. I'm going to start adding some other bits, and I've got some Calypso teal. This isn't a shimmer one, this is just a plain one. Oh, there's a bit of water on my mat here. Let's mop some of that up from my spraying. And I'm going to use a sponge again and put some interest through. I'm going to use one of the tag inkables with which has the arrows on, just to add some extra bits of detail. Still using my sets of 3, going straight into, and this time I'm going to use vanilla custard. If you're not a messy crafter, jelly plates are probably not the ideal thing for you, because I get absolutely covered in paint, but I have great fun. I'm going to use a dauber this time and add, being careful not to move too much. Paint does dry on the jelly plate whilst you're working, so I find the easiest thing to do is to then add a very thin layer of white gesso in my rather large pot of it, which I can never get any out of because it's so thick. Just put a bit on there and just dab lightly over the top. This will help pull the ink off and the paint off as you do the pull. Just moistens it up again if it's dried too much. So straight into my card, rub down well. As you can see, I've got it all on my fingers. I don't worry about getting paint on the back of these because they don't get seen. And there's that pull, and you can see the 3 different stencils. I'm going to try and see if I can get some more off. So another quick layer. Obviously the first pull is very bright. Second and third pulls can be more pastel. Using the same card. Really rub it down this time. And pull it off. You can see that one is much lighter, more pastel-y than the other one. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I use my jelly plate with paints and sprays. Thank you very much for watching.